right, welcome to another episode of Finding the Seams. I'm Ric Bucher. That is Brendan Haywood. He needs no other introduction. Brendan, I have, as always, I have a little bit of house cleaning before we dive into this episode and what we're going to talk about. A lot of it's going to have to do with the results that we got from the All-Star voting, from the players, the fans, and the media. And I think what's most interesting to me is being able to compare how those three factions view who the best players in the league are or who should be starting. So we're going to get to that in a second. But there was something you said, and I just wanted to clarify. You said in the last episode about Jalen Brown when we were selecting our starters in the two conferences, Eastern and Western. And we both agreed that Jalen Brown deserves to be a starter in the All-Star game for the Eastern Conference. But you referred to him as the best two-way player in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And I think you said self-proclaimed. And so I just wanted to check whether you were co-signing Jalen Brown's contention that he is the best two-way player in the league, or whether you were simply quoting him and as saying that he is the self-proclaimed best two-way player.
True and true. I was quoting him because he did self-proclaim that he's the best two-way player in the league.
Right.
But as I look around the landscape of the league, I don't see a two-way player better than him. I don't see a guy that's willing to go out there and lock up and still be able to go out there and average 30. So, no, Jalen Brown is self-proclaimed, but he is the self-proclaimed best two-way player in the league, but I believe what he's selling. The tickets that he's selling, I'm buying.
Okay. What about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Not a better defensive player than Jalen Brown.
Not a better defensive player, but I would say a better offensive player.
Yeah, but he is. But and some of it is also based on the team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays good defense, but they don't really ask him to defend the tough players because of who they have.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, like when they're healthy, it's like, okay, you got J-Dub, Lou Dort, Caruso, Cason Wallace, like they got a whole crew of guys that they ask to guard. Shai's just solid, really good for what he does, but they don't ask him to go guard nobody.
Yeah.
Like you'll watch Jalen Brown, he'll go guard Luka and then go get his buckets. They don't ask Shai to do that.
This guy probably falls in the same category. Jalen Duren.
He's not really a two-way player though. Jalen Duren from the Pistons.
Jalen Duren from the Pistons.
Yeah, I mean, like
he's not their playmaker, he's not their driver, but if you look at what he's producing offensively, along with what he does defensively, I'm just saying, if we're talking two-way player, and obviously it's difficult because there are different roles. Obviously, Jalen Brown has a lot more responsibility with the Boston Celtics. But the reason I bring this up is because I'll be full disclosure. The Boston Celtics didn't have Jason Tatum at the beginning of the year. I wasn't paying attention to them. You
need to pay attention now. You need to pay attention now.
Understood, which I have. And I will say that one of the maybe it's just the games that I've seen, because I haven't seen every single game, but the games that I've seen, they are the reason for their success isn't like Jalen Brown picked them up and put them on his shoulders. He has stepped into what Jason Tatum was as far as the guy, but the contributions that they're getting across the board from people that we didn't pay attention to or didn't give that much credit to prior to this, it really is a collective that has made the Boston Celtics formidable in spite of the absence of Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis leaving and Drew Holiday and all that. And I probably Joe Mazzulla deserves a ton of credit for what they've been. After our conversation and the conversation about Jalen Brown, I feel like we might have given him a little too much credit for what the Boston Celtics, how they've recovered from all their losses, as opposed to everybody stepping up, Jalen included. But it's not like he alone has lifted this franchise to be what it's been this season without Jason and the rest.
Very few players are going to lift a franchise by themselves. Very few. Like LeBron James in his prime could walk in there and you'd be like, yo, you got this dude. He's worth 35 wins on his own. The rest of you guys come to play, you should win at least another 45. And if you got a couple of guys that are really good, you should go, 55 and above. I'm not saying that Jalen Brown is prime LeBron James, but let's not get it twisted. Let's not have revisionist history. None of us expected the Boston Celtics to be competing this year in the Eastern Conference. They're the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference. The man said he's the best two-way player in the league. He might be the only primary scorer that defends the way that he does. He's averaging 30. I love what Jalen so when you compare him to Duren is cool, but they don't run offense like that for him. This guy is a primary scorer who a lot of people didn't think could take the place of Jason Tatum. It was all fun and games. Ha, 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 ha. He can't go left. He can't go left.
Right.
Apparently, you don't need to go left that well to average 30 in this league right now because that's what he's doing. So when I look at Jalen Brown, I'm not saying he's carrying the Celtics single-handedly, but he's more than stepped up and replaced what Jason Tatum was for the Boston Celtics, which is a surprise. I thought he was good. I didn't know he was able to. I didn't think he was able to be capable of this. Yeah. And he's averaging 30, and he's not slacking off defensively. And so that's why he says he's the best two-way player in the league. And I agree with him. There's not a better combination of offense and defense in the association right now. You can't find not one.
Yeah, he has an argument. I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to say it's crazy that he made that statement.
Who else averaging over 25 do you feel is a lockdown defender? Yeah. Jamal Murray's averaging 26. He's not a lockdown defender.
Yeah, he's not a lockdown defender.
SGA's not a lockdown defender. Ant-Man, solid, not a lockdown defender. Who is the lock? Dog, this is I'm not going to go this far, but it's giving this type of aura.
But see,
Kawhi Leonard. When
yes.
Kawhi Leonard was out playing for Toronto, and he was averaging 30, but he was still a premier defensive player. Now, we didn't think Kawhi was the only reason that team was good. Obviously,
right.
They had Kyle Lowry.
Right.
Obviously, they had Pascal Siakam. They had other pieces to that team, but you had a guy that could get 30 and stop your best player from getting 30. There's not many of them.
Right. No. Understood. But there's a reason that you're focusing on the defensive end because he is only he's still a bit of a turnover machine when it comes to offense. I don't really think that he's a playmaker per se. He can go get his, but he's not doing a whole lot of setting everybody else up. So that's where when you give me a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who is scoring and playmaking and defending, I'm just with the two-way. There are other guys in the conversation. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to tell you why he's the best two-way player, not Shai Gilgeous. I believe that Shai is a better playmaker. But the main thing in this argument is the lockdown defense. Mm-hmm. And let's just say both teams play the Lakers.
Well, I already know where you're going. Yeah.
All I'm saying is, when you start the game out, Jalen Brown is going to be on Luka. They're going to say, hey, I need you to guard that guy who's involved in every single thing that the Lakers do. Yep. Oh, yeah, and after you finish guarding him and running through a bunch of pick and rolls and guarding him one-on-one, we need you to go get 30.
Right.
When Shai Gilgeous-Alexander takes on the Lakers, he's guarding Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, or whoever else that they don't feel like is a threat because they don't want him to tire himself out on defense. And those two things are not the same.
Agreed. But then we'll have to see when we get to that point, when he's asked to do both, can he do both? Because even now, during the regular season,
who's asked to do both?
It's not like you're asking him every possession to lock down the opposing team's best player. That's not happening during the regular season every possession. Like there
Who?
are times where certainly he's doing that, but he's not
Who?
always taking the toughest assignment throughout the
Who?
course of the game.
No, I mean not for the full. I mean, listen, I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to guard Luca for 48 minutes.
It's
But
kind
like
of what he
Luca,
did. Kind of what he did in the finals.
yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is that even if he has to start out guarding somebody and maybe get off of him and then come back and guard him down the stretch, a lot of the guys that we consider elite defensive, like a lot of guys that like when I came in the league, Kobe was obviously a premier defender, but he might not guard the premier guy
Sure,
all game long.
sure.
Like they might say, okay, we want you to start out over here, and then if the guy gets hot, we'll put you on him, or down the stretch, if we need you to turn the guy's water off, we want you to guard him. But that's just smart coaching. But
Yep.
but all I'm saying is, for the most part, Jalen Brown, if there's a tough matchup on that sheet, if there's a tough wing, he got to go guard that guy.
Right.
He don't duck the smoke. And SGA has like 4 different guys that you got that go out there and guard, so he doesn't have to.
Yeah. True.
And
True.
Jalen Brown, I'm just saying, doesn't have that luxury. That's why he claimed that he's the best two-way player in this league, and I'm stamping him.
You know what I like about this is that we're not talking about what a guy can potentially do, because I think that SGA can be like a really good defender when he needs to be, right? But he's not being asked to do that. And so the fact that Jalen is being asked to do a little bit more than that, like we're weighing what guys actually do as opposed to what their capabilities are.
Yeah,
Fair?
and maybe that's unfair, but what you're asked to do and what we see on a nightly basis is what we have to judge you on. So if I turn on an
100%.
OKC game, and I'm gonna keep with the Laker example, and I see Cason Wallace start out on Luka, and then when Cason Wallace subs out, I see Lou Dort get Luka, and then I see Caruso get Luka,
Yep.
and then I turn on a Boston Celtics game when they play the Lakers, and from the jump ball, it's Jalen Brown on Luka. That's just a different level of responsibility.
No,
Right now, like I said, he might be one of the only premier scorers in this league that has that responsibility. Like, hey, we want you to go out there and guard that guy. All right, I got you, and I'm gonna get my 30.
we may come back and
Listen,
revisit this.
guarding at that level and getting 30 is tough to do. Just so people know, that's really tough to do.
Actually, just getting up the number of shots that he gets up, like he's taking 22, 23 shots a game. And I think people don't understand, and I know you do, like taking that many shots, getting to that many shots in a game takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy just to get up that many shots, right?
And then go defend. No. Yeah. So I need you to go, hey, jack up 23 shots. Oh, yeah. I need you to guard another guy. He's jacking up 23 shots off.
Right. No. I didn't mean this in any way to disparage what Jalen Brown is doing. I think
it sounds like you're disparaging.
What?
You have a disparaging tone.
You sound like, honestly, you sound like my family, my wife and my kids.
They know.
Like,
hey, listen,
it's not what you said. It's not what you said, Dad. It's how you said it.
Hey, we all know. Hey, listen, your wife, your kids, and now me. We all know you well. We can hear it in your tone. It's written on your face.
I have no idea how we got here, but we're going to get off this subject. All-Star.
I'm an honorary family member. That's how I'm taking it. I'm an honorary Brendan Bucher. That's what we're gonna. That's what we're gonna start calling. That's my nickname. BB. B squared. Good. I like that. B squared. Brendan Bucher. B squared.
Okay. All right. B squared. We're going to talk All-Star. We got the voting in on the Western and Eastern Conference. They've been settled. We gave our starters last week. I think we were pretty much on point across the board. Was there anything? I don't think you and I disagreed on a single one.
No, we were in lockstep.
Yeah. And the only difference between what we said and what transpired was I believe that Steph Curry got the nod over Anthony Edwards in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
But everything else was the same. Was there anything else out of the voting that surprised you?
No. I think that, like I said, I think we both thought that Ant should have been the starter. I understand there's the fan vote. the fans love Steph Curry, and so I understand how that
Hey,
happens. But
I think players had him there too.
the players had Steph
Players
over
had
Ant.
Steph higher than Ant. They also had Ant and KD as starters over Wemby, and this is the real shocker for me, Luka Doncic. Luka
That's not a
Doncic
shocker.
was
That's not a
number
shocker.
one overall by fans, and I think tied for second with the media. And the players had him sixth or seventh, but it was outside of the top five.
The players understand that there's two ends of the court,
Yeah.
and Luka disappears on one of them.
But they also had Wemby outside. I think it was
That's
Ant.
that might be specific because he's younger though. Wemby he's younger. He's still earning his stripes. So he's younger. So he's like there's going to come a time where Wemby's just every single year first team. There's not even going to be
Yeah.
a doubt. But right now he's still a young pup. Even though he's very impressive, he's still a young tiger cub.
Well, this is the other part that I wonder about, which is there, because I don't know how much this exists among players now, but I know it once did, there was a resistance toward international players, and international players being celebrated and elevated in ways that a lot of, let's face it, American NBA players resented, thought that there was just a little too much hype around the international players, and it was, let me see you prove it. And I wonder if there's still some of that, if some of that exists.
I think that was like back in the day when Europeans were not first coming over, but it was yeah, let's say early 2000s when you started seeing certain guys, they wouldn't get the same heat as the American players, but they would get the same price.
Hmm.
And I think you did see some resentment then, but now the game has changed so much. The game has such a European flavor.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a buck. Probably, if you wanted to make an argument, and I don't think it'd even be a stretch, the top five players in the NBA right now are all European. Luka, Giannis, SGA, Wemby, and Jokic.
Yep.
I don't even like that's not like now you might be able to throw somebody. Maybe you want to put Ant Man or somebody in there, but all I'm saying is those. If you say those five are the best players in the league right now, no one's fighting you. No one says you're crazy. So I think that the resentment towards European players is kind of over because they're here now and they're elite and they're playing well. And
Hmm.
like the MVPs are going to European players. It was SGA, then it was Jokic, and it was Jokic some more. Then before that it was Giannis, and then it was Giannis again. And it was just Embiid got mixed in there. So it's just one of those situations where right now there's so many non-American born players that are playing at an elite level in this league that I don't think you have that same feeling that you did like in the early 2000s. Like the European, like NBA guys aren't looking at the European players the way some of those guys were. Let's say mid 90s. Remember when Tony Kukoc came over and some people
Yep.
kind of looking at him with the, I don't know. We
Yep.
think he's getting too much love look.
Hey,
Like it's
when
not
Dirk
that.
when Dirk first got here, Dirk's early years, like the thing I remember is that when guys would come over, particularly if they were drafted high, and I think this happens across the board with anybody who's drafted high and young and maybe hasn't proven anything, is there's a test. Let's see what you got, young fella. But with the Europeans, I almost felt like Kevin Garnett felt it was his duty to try to punk every young European that came over that was a big. Like, I remember how Kristaps Porzingis was attacked coming over. Like, these skinny Euros, we are going to test them.
He ain't attacked Dirk like that.
What's that?
He ain't attacked Dirk like I don't know what he did when Dirk was young. I know what I saw when they went head to head. He ain't attacked Dirk like that.
No, not later. But Dirk early on, I mean, Dirk had to find his way. Dirk.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But Kevin Garnett just like that though. Like he don't care.
Everybody understood.
He don't care. He don't care if you're from Europe or Hollis, Queens, man. Like he gonna if you're a young player in this league, he gonna talk to you and he gonna try to disrespect you and he's gonna try to intimidate you. and see who stands up. That's basically
Right.
what it. Who stands up, who backs down, who gets upset and can't focus on the game. That's all the stuff that KG's looking to do.
Right. And he would do that across the board.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas we have Draymond Green, who is more selective, I would say.
See, there you go. See, I'm not starting no trouble with Draymond Green. You sound like Kenya Martin.
Is that not true? Is that not true?
You trying to call Dre? You trying to call Dre a fake tough guy? I ain't gonna be involved.
No. I'm not saying that. I am not saying fake tough
Once
guy.
again, that's what it sounds like.
Think,
I hear it in your tone.
No, it's. I don't know how to change my tone. What I'm saying is, Draymond is calculated. Like, he sees the guys he can intimidate. He sees guys that he knows that if he gets physical with or he does certain things, that he can throw them off their game. I believe that Draymond recognizes those guys that it's not worth trying that with, that it's actually might go the other way. You might inspire that guy to play harder and you don't want to do that. I just think Kevin was like, I'm challenging everybody in the room. I don't care who they are. That's just the way, that was his nature. So don't paint me into, I'm trying to take Draymond down a peg. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I actually think that the criticism of him, because people do call him a fake tough guy because he is selective, I think that's wrong-headed. I think he's selective because he's smart. He's like, I'm going to do this to the guys that I think that I know it can work on, as opposed to I'm just going to attempt it with the broad brush, because physically he can't back it up against everybody.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can agree with that. I mean, Dre is one of the smarter players to ever come through this league, and he understands that, hey, if I'm talking to Karl Anthony Towns, I might be able to get into his head, rattle him a little bit. You notice he don't never when he don't talk to Jokic. Like, now,
not Jokic, not Jalen Duren, not
yeah,
like
yeah, you're not talking to Jokic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because you're not gonna get in his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna come out here and do what he do, and he's not worried about what you're talking about. You know?
Yeah, fair. All right, so we gave our starters in the last episode. Are you ready to pick your 7 reserves for the Eastern and Western Conference?
I am, and I think this is going to be a year where when the fans turn on the All-Star game and when they hear the reserves, there's going to be some names in there that the casuals are going to be like, who?
Yeah.
Right? Because you have some guys on teams that aren't really great, but they're putting up great numbers. Yeah. And then you have some guys that we thought would be all-stars, but you just look and say, I don't know. Like, in the Eastern Conference, at the beginning of the year, if you told me that I'd have questions of whether Paolo Banchero is an all-star, I would say, yeah, you're crazy. He's going to be all-star for sure. Mm-hmm. But on a nightly basis, when I watch, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if I'm starting off in the Eastern Conference, I think Karl Anthony Towns is an all-star. 20 and 12, Knicks team. I mean, listen, the East is going to get a little wonky with some of these names. I think Karl Anthony Towns is an all-star.
Okay.
I had to pick somebody off Toronto because they're a top 4 or 5 team in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. I went back and forth, but I'm going with Scotty Barnes because I like the averaging 20 points a game and he defends.
Okay.
So I got Scotty Barnes and Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
Spider Mitchell averaging 30 points a game for Cleveland. Cleveland is not where I thought they would be, but Spider Mitchell is an all-star if I've ever seen one. You know, okay. That's one I don't think we'll debate. Now I'm also going to reward winning. So I got Jalen Duren.
Your resistance to Jalen Duren is curious for me.
No. I said I'm going to reward winning. Like, though he's 17.
I know, but you're suggesting like he doesn't have a big part in that winning. That. No.
I'm not saying
he's the best player on that team. Like, no question.
Time out. I'm not. There's no hesitancy when it comes to Jalen Duren.
But you know what? But your tone.
No. See, there you go. Now you're being condescending. But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, like, a lot of casual fans, they might they're going to be shocked at some of these names.
Sure.
I got Jalen Duren in there,
okay.
And I said, like, obviously if you didn't know, he's averaging 17 and 10 or 17 11, something like that, a double on the best team in the Eastern Conference, which is the Detroit Pistons. And defensively, he will guard his yard. Love what this guy's doing. Listen, when they talk about no days off in the weight room, they talk about guys built like him, man. So I have Jalen Brown as an all-star. And these last three names get spicy because I didn't think we would be here at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
First one, Jalen Johnson for the Atlanta Hawks. Second guy that I didn't think I would be here, Michael Porter Jr. for the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, my God.
Hey, last but not least, I'm getting giddy with it with Josh Giddey.
Wow.
I'm getting giddy with it with Josh Giddey.
Wow.
20 points, 9 assists for the Bulls. I'm going Josh Giddey.
Wow. That is a shocker for me. That is a shocker for me.
I'm getting giddy with it. Who
Wow.
you got? Yeah.
So no one
I went back and forth between Josh Giddey and Paolo, but I'm just like, because then I've just been so disappointed in Orlando and Paolo this year, man, that I just went with Josh Giddey.
Well, I guess I reward winning a little bit more. I agree with you on Jalen Duren, Scotty Barnes, Donovan Mitchell, and Jalen Johnson. I think he's been a revelation. And I like that Hawks team. I like a lot of what they have. You know, where they're going to go, and they still need something else. They need to replace Trey, but
after they gave him away.
Yeah. I'm not with you on Karl Anthony Towns.
Ooh. Who you got to play Karl Anthony Towns?
Michael Porter Jr. And I had Josh Giddey. So this is what it was for me. The first 6 spots for me were easy. Jalen Duren, in no particular order. Jalen Duren, Scotty Barnes, Donovan Mitchell, Norm Powell, Paolo Banchero, and Jalen Johnson. Now, I had to go back and forth between Bam and Norm, but I needed to reward the Miami Heat because I think in a way they've been better in the same way than Boston has. I didn't know what Miami was going to be.
When did we start saying we got to reward the 8th seed? I'm just guessing. Normally, the 8th seed only gets one guy.
Well, we rewarded Jalen Johnson, so why not?
No. What I'm saying is, you said we got to reward. Like, you got to get 2 guys off the 8.
No. I'm not giving 2. I'm not giving 2. It was just one. It was one or the other. It was one or the other.
I just don't feel like you have if one guy is the 8th seed and the other guy is the 10th seed. Hey man, they both meh. So if one guy's having a better season, you can go with that guy. Now, if one guy's on the 2nd seed, but if it's the 8th seed versus the 10th seed, what are we doing?
Honestly, when it comes to the Knicks and rewarding a second guy, I was more inclined to give it to Mikal Bridges than I was Karl Anthony Towns.
Wow. The Karl Anthony Towns disrespect. What's wrong?
There's a reason that they're looking to trade him.
Wow. You don't like the voice switch. You don't like the fact that he keeps switching his voice during the interview. That's what it is.
You know what? It's the switching in general. There's times where he looks like a world beater, and there's times where I can't find him. And that, I struggle with that. And if we're talking about two-way players, there's too many situations where he's not what I need from my big on that Knicks team. I mean, honestly, Mitchell Robinson has been a revelation with what he's doing off of the bench. And how he changes the game defensively when he comes in. There's too many contributing factors that make Karl Anthony Towns' numbers look better than I think that he actually is in terms of his contribution overall. So that's where
I agree. I like I said, I had problems. I see the mix-ups on the weak side of the defense with Karl Anthony Towns, the strong side, and in the pick and roll. So I know where Mike Brown and his teammates are frustrated with him. But at the end of the day, the Knicks are still a top 4 seed. He's averaging 20 and 12 or whatever he is averaging. That's a strong double-double. So I couldn't move him. I couldn't move him off his spot. And like you said, the Knicks are looking to move him, and maybe they'd make a move. I will say this. If they move Karl Anthony Towns, it's gonna get tough for him. It's gonna get tough for him. Because I like Mitchell Robinson. But I tell you what, you're gonna get into a playoff series and teams are
Yeah.
gonna
No,
hack a
no.
Robinson him right off the court.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying.
I just happen to throw that in there because I know people are talking about they should trade Karl Anthony Towns. If they trade Karl Anthony Towns, they don't get a big man back. I'm just gonna tell you. I like to tell people what's gonna happen ahead of time. They're
Yeah.
gonna get to a playoff series. They're gonna hack a Robinson until they take him out of the game, and then they're gonna run straight to the front of the rim against the Knicks.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Mitchell is in the perfect role as is, right?
But I don't want to take away from the All-Star conversation. That was just on my mind. But we can get back to it. So get back to your All-Stars.
That's fair. So the first six: Duren, Barnes, Mitchell, Powell, Banchero, Johnson. That was my six. And then I had like Bam, McHale, Brandon Ingram, Franz Wagner, Josh Giddey. Like that was the mix for me with that 7th spot. And I'd really be comfortable with giving it to almost any of those guys. But because we are, because you're part of the family now, I'm going to go with Josh Giddey. I'm going to put Josh, Mr. Triple Double for the Chicago Bulls in that 7th spot, so that we have we're not that far off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We agree on 5.
Yeah.
I just MPJ doing what he does for a losing Brooklyn Nets team.
Hey, listen. I had to pick somebody. Like I said, like Eastern Conference.
I gave you about 6 other choices.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is Eastern Conference. When you get down to it, it's going to be the fans are going to see some names in the All-Star game, like whether it's Michael Porter Jr., whether it's Norman Powell, whoever. Like it's going to be people like, oh, I'm not used to seeing that guy's name, Josh Giddey. Oh, I'm not used to seeing that guy's name there. So it's going to be a little bit different. Getting into the Western Conference, I got Ant-Man. Obviously, thought he should be a starter. KD, Jamal Murray having his best year as a pro. Kawhi Leonard. I got Sengun. Sengun.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with the rewarding winning. I'm going to go with Chet Holmgren. And last but not least, a guy that you might not be rolling with this guy because their team isn't the biggest winners in the world. But he surprised me this year. I'm going with Denny Avdija. 26 points a game for the Portland Trailblazers. What say you? I dare you to say something bad about Denny Avdija. Say something bad.
I'm not. Denny is there for me.
Whoa! Okay. You rolling with the good guys. I'm saying my basketball acumen is rubbing off on you.
I don't know, but Denny was there. Denny was there for me from the beginning. Again, we are very close. I didn't hear Devin Booker's name.
Oh, you know what? Let me go back. You know what? You made a great point. Now you're basketball. Okay, I'll give you the option. Who you want to take off, Sengun or Chet? Either one of them got to go. Devin Booker got to be there. Me forgetting Devin Booker is a flat out indictment. I'm putting myself on timeout, on punishment.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because we didn't even think the Phoenix Suns would be competing at all this year.
That's tough. I would lean Sengun.
Okay, I'm cool with it. We can take Senguini off. Senguini, you're gone. Senguini out.
No. I got Senguini on.
Senguini on.
Yeah.
Okay, Chet, you're out.
Because Chet, you could make a case he's the 3rd best player on that team.
That's fine. Either one of them got to go for Devin Booker. I'm not gonna fight you. Okay, we keeping Senguini. We giving Chet the boot. Chet, get out of here. All right, we're putting Devin Booker in.
But Booker is in.
Booker is definitely in.
Yeah.
That is an oversight on my part. I'm sorry, Devin Booker, for the disrespect.
So I think we were again all but this time all but one.
Yeah.
I had Jamal Murray, KD obviously, Book, Avdija, Sengun, Ant. I did not have Kawhi Leonard.
Ooh.
And it's not because he hasn't played like an all-star. It's the amount that he's played. I mean, I think it's played 24 games, which is probably enough.
Hey, that's a lot for him.
So then I ran into the same problem that I did with the East, which is like I had De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle. Like I thought about do I take somebody from San Antonio, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Chet, or Jalen Williams? And the other guy that I thought about, I don't know whether you gave him any thought or not. He ultimately wouldn't make it, but he was in the mix. Like I could see potentially as an injury replacement is Aaron Gordon, both for what he was doing when Jokic was there and what he's been doing since Jokic was out. Because I don't know about you, but the fact that the Nuggets have gone 7-5, which isn't great shakes, but they've been competitive in every game, that they've gone 7-5 without Jokic, to me has been a little eye-opening or surprise. I'll just say surprising. Not that I didn't respect all those other guys, but I thought Jokic is just so central to everything that they do, particularly offensively. I wasn't sure how it was going to work. And the fact that they've been as good as they've been certainly has surprised me. And again, when guys kind of step into the breach and it's not what they're capable of, but it's what they do when they're given the opportunity, I want to reward that. And that's why I wanted Aaron Gordon to be, you know how like at the Golden Globes or the Emmys or whatever, like you have people that are nominated, right?
Right.
You know they're not going to win. They're not going to win, but they're nominated so that they're recognized for their work. That's what I was doing. I was nominating Aaron Gordon.
18 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Obviously, he's part of the reason why this team didn't collapse when Jokic left. We all thought they were going to collapse. We thought, man, they're not going to be able to win games. I just called the game the other day, Wizards versus Denver, and you know, Denver still looked good. So it's just one of those ones where I can see his name, but when you watch Denver play, it's a collective.
Yeah.
Like you watch him play and you say, oh wow, Jamal Murray's playing better. Aaron Gordon's playing better. Peyton Watson's playing a lot better.
Yep.
Peyton, listen, I'm gonna give you this one for free. I'm gonna give you this one before it happens. Peyton Watson's playing so good. If he keeps this up, he's gonna be the reason why Aaron Gordon is traded.
Woo hoo hoo.
I like to give it to you before it happens. All I'm saying is he's playing so well that they're going to have to give him a contract, $25, $30 million. And he's 5 years younger than Aaron Gordon. And they're not going to be able to afford to have Aaron Gordon's salary, Peyton Watson's salary, and Christian Brown's salary.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to move. And they're going to, like I said, if he keeps this up, Peyton Watson is playing phenomenal basketball. Yeah. Phenomenal. 6'8", athletic, man, blocking shots. Now he's shooting like 40% from three. He don't take a lot of them. He only takes about 3 to 4. But now he's respectable from that area, man. So it's like, man, Denver is still they're a very scary team. But I give Aaron Gordon his credit. But big picture, I think Peyton Watson's playing so well that Aaron Gordon might not be there in a year or two. But we shall see.
This is going to be the test. It's going to be the postseason.
Yeah.
Can Peyton replicate this in the postseason?
If he's hitting threes, if Peyton Watson's hitting threes in the postseason, Aaron Gordon might not be there next year.
Yep, I don't disagree with that. I think it's like a little bit like Jalen Green last year with Houston.
Oof,
like they
played his way right to Phoenix, didn't he?
Damn right he did, and it was all postseason. Like there were glimpses of something during the regular season, and then we got to the postseason, and it was like, oh, nah, he's not. He can't fill that role. That's not
the real McCoy. Okay, what Hope say? He's all right, but he's not real.
Yeah, that's exactly right. By the way,
you didn't know that Jay-Z said that. I'm glad you went with me. You're like, yeah, that's right, but you didn't know you don't know the verbs.
No,
you've never heard that. You've never heard that bar. I like how you played it off. You're like, yeah, I heard it before.
What is? I've done that. By the way, as you know, I've done that before. Mm-hmm. For those who don't, I'll share this. I don't have a problem with sharing this. So there was a couple episodes ago where you made a remark. I think I was making a remark about like it was my wife's birthday and I needed to deliver and I felt like I wasn't up to the task and I'm talking
You do know
about like, taking her out to dinner and what her
we had
gift
this conversation off camera, but go ahead, continue.
it's well, I was just talking about like how we were going to celebrate the gift that I might get her, and you mentioned Rose Sparks, which
It's the gift that keeps
when I
on
first
giving.
heard it, I thought you said Rosa Parks.
Why
And
would
I'm
I be
like,
telling you to get her
what does
Rosa
Rosa
Parks?
Parks have to do with this? And I'm like,
What do you think
it couldn't be that. And then I
I was
thought,
telling her to fight
you know
for her
what?
freedom? What?
I didn't know. I didn't know. And that's why I immediately
Do
thought,
you make her sit in the back of the car or something?
I thought that's what I heard,
What?
but it couldn't be that. So then I thought maybe there's a women's like ultra luxury line that I'm not aware of named Rose Parks, which there actually is a women's clothing line called Rose Parks. So I was thinking, oh, you're talking about me like buying some expensive gift from the Rose Parks line. And I just played along with it on both of those. And then afterward, I'm like, I got to find out what the hell he was talking about. And then I looked it up and I started to type it and it was like I got RO into Google and the ED comes up and I'm like, oh, that's really funny that he.
Hey,
see, man, I'm completely oblivious. Never had to traffic in the ED aisle at the.
But the thing is, like they if you on any websites where basically men traffic,
yeah,
that's where they obviously sell their product. So
are you saying that's how you were aware of it? Is that your way of saying that's how you knew about it? I just saw a commercial. I just saw an ad.
No, you have like when they have the commercials doing all the sporting events, like different like Gilbert Arenas' podcast, all the other podcasts, all the like really male macho podcasts.
Yeah,
that's where they advertise the Rosa Parks.
Good to know. All right. You know, one of the other discoveries that I made.
How do we get here? Let's get back on track.
I know. We're getting back on track because this is LeBron James, and we're going to get to the whole Lakers saga before we say goodbye. But I discovered Chat GPT is scared of LeBron James.
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to know where we're going with this.
So
go ahead.
I was trying to create an image of on ChatGPT of LeBron James not being picked an all-star, like having a cartoon of a NBA player not picking LeBron James, checking the box on some international players, or maybe it was fan vote. It was the fan vote, fans picking players other than LeBron James, sort of just to illustrate that there's this sea change. You know, for all of LeBron's success, he's no longer that guy. And why does this is killing me.
The ghost of LeBron James came to smack that light right
there
at
he
you.
is.
Wow.
This has happened twice now.
The ghost of LeBron James.
This is driving me crazy.
Hey, listen. Say his name 3 times and he'll appear like Candyman.
It is the power. It is the power of LeBron James. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But no. So I could do it. I could create that image with any number of names: Anthony Edwards, Denny Avdija, whatever. Anytime I tried to put in LeBron James's name, it would say it couldn't do it. I don't know if it violated some protocol or whatever it was. It would not allow me to create a disparaging image of LeBron James, which makes me think, you know what happened?
What happened?
B squared?
What happened?
ChatGPT got the call. Somebody tried to take a shot at LeBron, and ChatGPT got the call, and it ain't going there anymore.
I'm not doing this with you. I'm mad at you. I'm mad that you figured this out on your own. But I ain't going there with you, man. Hey man, hey, what do you think about the Lakers article? What did you think about the article?
Jeff Teague, who else? Brian Windhorst and ChatGPT. They've all got the call.
Got that call. You don't want to get the call.
All right. So, big news of the week. The latest, I shouldn't even say the big news. The latest news of the week when it comes to the Lakers and LeBron James was a piece by Baxter Holmes on ESPN.com that the primary focus was on how and why Jeannie Buss agreed to sell a controlling interest in the Lakers to Mark Walter after resisting it for many, many, many years. And in doing so, how she was able to get all of the siblings paid, but essentially kicked out of the organization, except for Jeannie Buss, who is now the governor of the Lakers for the next 5 years, even though Mark Walter has a controlling interest. All of this was negotiated. But within that, all of that, it was a very long piece. There was the revelation or the report that Jeannie was tired of LeBron James taking all of the credit and taking none of the responsibility, including the lack of gratitude that LeBron showed for the fact that the Lakers drafted Bronny James. So
what? They did that for LeBron. I thought they just really wanted to take him.
yeah, you did.
Oh,
Just
so
straight on potential. The guy coming off the bench for a losing USC team, averaging 2.3 points a game.
mm-hmm.
You know what? That's the guy.
Got his dig deep.
Yeah.
Hey man, Peyton Watson only averaged 3 points a game for UCLA.
Yeah. What are his physical attributes again?
I forget.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving. I forget.
You don't want to get the call.
I don't.
Yeah. So, what do you make of the fact that this is coming out at this time? There's a lot to unpack here, but let's start there. Just the timing of this story and all of the revelations in it.
Some of this stuff is stuff that people like me and you have heard in back rooms the whole time he was there.
For a while, yes.
But
like most of it was simply confirmed.
Yeah, it was stuff like, hey,
sources.
Man. Yeah, I've always heard just from different because, like I said, the Lakers, none of that stuff ever stays a secret. There's so much turnover. They've had multiple coaching staffs, so like there's so many coaches that I've been able to talk to, and people, like I said, like media people as well that knew what was going on. None of this stuff is surprising to me. Oh, some people thought that Clutch had too much power. I've known that. Do I agree with it? Do I think that that Jeannie Buss or whoever should have even put this out there in the atmosphere? No. But that's something that, yeah, I've known that. Oh man, they were mad because LeBron, not forced, but he basically stamped the Russell Westbrook trade, and then when it didn't go well, he wanted to ship him out and didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, I've heard that before. Like, you know, like, listen, Frank Vogel and his coaching staff probably lost their jobs because of that trade. That's how badly that trade worked out. So, like, a lot of this stuff is things that I've heard before. I just don't understand why it was put out in this article right now and the way it was and the way I just don't, like I said, I don't understand how this benefits Jeannie Buss. I just didn't. It was one of those ones that it wasn't. Everything true doesn't need to be said. Yeah. And I didn't think that this really kind of needed to be out there. I don't know why this was even put out there in that type of space.
Well, based on my experience as a writer and a reporter and someone who's had to do sourced stories before or controversial stories, looking at how this was handled, my summation is that Joey and Jesse Buss, the youngest of the Buss siblings, who are actually half brothers to Jeannie, were thinking that they were expecting that at one point they were going to run the Lakers. And Jeannie's power move to get them out resulted in them deciding to take shots at Jeannie on the way out the door. And so, because there are certain things that were said in the piece that only Jesse and Joey would have known. And yet it said that Joey and Jesse didn't participate, were not available, refused to comment or whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't mean they weren't a source. That doesn't mean that they didn't provide a lot of background information on this. And so I think that's what inspired this. But then there's all of the LeBron James innuendo when it comes to Jeannie. And I look at it as this is what happens in messy organizations. And the Lakers, for all of their success, have been a messy organization. There's just too many people that are in the decision-making process. And, with like Kurt Rambis and his wife, Linda, and we know that they are confidants of Jeannie. And then you got Phil Jackson, who's been part of at least a consultant unofficially to Jeannie. And then you have Pelinka and like, there's just way too many people that are fighting for authority and control within the Lakers. And when one of them gets excised, then they're going to air the dirty laundry. And there just seems to be an awful lot of dirty laundry. And this is what I'm curious about your experience with various organizations and teams is how unusual is it that the Lakers have all this internal drama? Never mind that it's all generally gets out with the Lakers, but the fact that it exists, that there is this infighting. How many of the teams that you played on did you have a sense that there was that going on in the front offices and in the suites above the practice facility?
Probably two. In DC, there was like when I came in, like there was infighting between A. Pole and Michael Jordan. I talked about that already.
Yep.
So that there was you on Mike's side, you on A. Poland's side. Like they didn't see things eye to eye, and it was a little bit different. Also in DC, there was a power struggle when Ernie Grunfeld took over because he didn't hire Eddie Jordan. I think Eddie Jordan was hired, and then Ernie Grunfeld came in, and they never really saw eye to eye. And so there were times where Ernie might draft a player and Eddie won't play said player. It kind of Shedeur Sanders type situations like we saw in Cleveland this year. Like the GM wants this guy, but the coach don't really want him. And so I saw those type of situations happen in DC. The other one was probably my first year in Charlotte. I don't think there was infighting because everybody knew Michael Jordan ran the show, but there was a difference of opinion between Dunlap and some of the like front office, Rod Higgins and some of those guys, and how things should be done.
Okay. Because we saw it with the Denver Nuggets. I mean, we discovered after the fact.
Yeah.
Denver Nuggets had that.
Got both guys fired.
Yes. But what's extraordinary to me is, and I guess you experienced both sides of it, like teams that are successful in spite of that. Like that's really, really hard. The Denver Nuggets probably missed out on a title potentially because of the drama, but they were still contending. And I can't think of anything that could be more divisive than your GM and your head coach being at opposing,
it's the worst.
Opposing each other, right?
Yeah. Well, like when your GM and your head coach, or like when there's that battle within the organization, some teams can win anyway. But when everybody's not pulling in the right direction, this makes winning that much harder. When this guy's drafted, but this guy doesn't like him, so this guy might not play him, or if he'll play him, but he'll play him in certain stints, just as like a middle finger to the GM or whoever. And it's just you see a lot like I said, like you see more of this behind the scenes than most people give credit to. But a lot of the really good organizations, they're on the same page and everybody's pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
And so, like, like I said, I do work for the Wizards right now, and when you talk to people in the front office, they have a vision. When you talk to people on the coaching staff, they have a vision. That vision has been conveyed to the players, and the players go out there and they work and do this. Everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
If the Wizards become very good next year, I won't be shocked. I know you might be because you're a hater, but I won't be shocked because I see what they're building. I see what they're trying to do. When OKC became OKC, it was like the second time, not the KD time. Like this time, it started out with them being really bad, but everybody, Sam Presti and the coaching staff, everybody being on the same page with the
Yeah.
type of players they want, the style of players, how they want those players to play in games, how they approach practice, and then over time, boom, they become what we see now.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot of the really good organizations. Everybody's in lockstep, and then it leads to winning.
So one last thing before we go, and it's circling back to the All-Star situation. In large part, I meant to mention this because of your fandom for Denny Avdija. Denny Avdija wound up with more votes, more fan votes than Anthony Edwards.
Ooh.
Denny Avdija spent 4 years in purgatory with the Wizards,
Whoa,
and it's only been
let's not say purgatory. Let's not do that.
In hell.
Hey, wow.
I thought I was being nice by saying purgatory.
They are my employer.
I'm kidding.
I'm a company man.
Look, okay. How about this? Obscurity.
Okay,
In
better
obscurity.
word.
With
Better
the
choice of words. I can roll with that.
And he has 2 years. I mean, basically, he started coming on last year when they started playing him as a point forward and letting him show everything that he could do. But now it's like he's really showing everybody what he's capable of, and he'll be an all-star. I don't think you and I are alone in buying the Denny Avdija thing. It does, and he does have the country of Israel behind him. But I just found it shocking that Anthony Edwards, multi all-star, all NBA, has been to the postseason several times, and whereas Denny never has been on that stage, that he would draw more votes than Anthony Edwards. I
think you said it. He has a whole what voting for him?
Country.
Hello.
But so there are
I
10
remember
million people.
remember those years where Jaja Pachulia was getting a lot of votes because he had the whole country vote?
In Georgia. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
No,
we ain't
I mean,
talking
that's
about
why
the Georgia that we ain't talking about Georgia where Atlanta is either.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I know the country.
Yeah,
But
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's why they changed. That's why they split the vote, is so that you wouldn't have Zaza Pachulia or Denny Avdija or anybody being voted in as a starter when there was a question as to whether that is. Anthony Edwards, I just think would have, like, okay, so we got 10 million Israelis, we got whatever 300 million Americans. I would just think Anthony Edwards would have grabbed a bigger piece of the American pie so that the Israeli faction wouldn't have as much of an effect. I guess I'm just saying.
The Israeli
I thought
faction,
Anthony Edwards was more popular.
We still talking about basketball here, bro. The Israeli faction, boy, you making it sound real political.
Like, no. Trust me. Do not want to step into that right now at all.
Whoa. Yeah. I listen. I was surprised, but like you said, when you think big picture, okay, Denny Avdija obviously has the Portland fan base voting for him.
Right.
Then he's playing really well, 26 points per game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Portland's doing better than what we thought they would be doing,
For sure.
Especially with the controversy they had to start the year. I mean, man.
Also true.
Man.
Yeah.
So like Denny Avdija is beating the odds. You know what I'm saying? He is beating the odds. And
do you know if players, and maybe even prior to the voting, when players were voting, did you guys ever discuss all-stars? Who should be all-stars? Who's not all-stars? Was that ever like locker room chatter among the players?
Sure. Around All-Star time, yeah. Like, oh, no, this guy should be like, now we might not be talking about who we're voting for, but it's like, oh, you think he's an all-star? You be on the plane sometimes, like, oh, he's an all. It'd be debates, like, oh, hell no, not him, not him over that guy. You crazy? Like, yeah. So like the same way we're having this debate, like, whether it would be, is it Chet Holmgren or Sengun? Like that type of situation happens on a plane where everybody, hey, everybody's sitting there putting their 2 cents in on a trip for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, that
Which,
definitely
which,
happens.
which also explains something to me, because I've always felt like players are affected by how that particular player plays against them. What that player gives them versus what the other player does. They don't do the step back in terms of looking at that player's overall. It's more like there's more of a personal, like, I remember when
Yeah,
he gave me 40, or I remember how hard it was to, like, deal with this
yeah,
guy versus this guy ain't that.
yeah. And it's simply like, because, and that's part of being a player. I don't think that's the only thing guys take into account. But when you're a high leverage player and they're talking to you about, let's just say they're talking to you about this guy's defense, and you're thinking to yourself, I give him easy work, so I'm not
Right.
voting for him because of his defense. Like that's how it is sometimes. Or you might be thinking, um, man, this guy's defense is really elite.
Yeah.
Wow, like the first guy that I really saw guys having conversations about should this guy be an all-star. They're talking about how elite his defense was, and it's my last year in the league was Kawhi Leonard. The way I heard Kyrie and LeBron talk about that guy's defense let me know that defense was real and it
Yeah.
made them work. I was like, man, because they were talking about him being like defensive player of the year. I'm like, man, how are you gonna be defensive player of the year? They're like, no, you're overstepping. You don't know. Okay, first and foremost, you ain't getting out there like that this year, big fella. Your jersey smells like mothballs. you got to understand what we're trying to tell you. When that guy guards you, it's different. And I listen. I listen to him like, oh, okay, like, all right.
Yeah.
So guys will, like you said, they respond like the way certain guys leave a lasting impression. Like Kawhi Leonard, prime defensive two-way Kawhi, he left a lasting impression. Guys understood you better pack a lunch when dude's here.
Yeah.
And that also goes into the voting process.
Yeah. All right.
Who you think voted? Hey, Bronny got 2 votes. Who you think voted for him? See, let's not do that. We don't want the call. That's it. Wrap the show.
I know, exactly.
Rapido.
That is it. We'll dive into that next episode.
No,
All
we
right.
won't.
No, we won't. Brendan, always pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Hey man, maybe off this episode we get some Rose Park sponsorship. either that or Rosa Parks. I'll take either one.
Any of the 3. Rose
Yeah.
Parks. Call me.